Hello everyone, welcome to the video on helicopter dynamics. I am Professor Srinidhi. This video will be discussing about blade element analysis in forward flight. It is the continuation of the previous video. The contents of this video is blade element analysis, that is here in forward flight, and determining blade forces, then determining blade velocities. Starting off with the analysis, any rotor helicopter provides two forces. One is lifting force, second one is propulsive force. This lifting force will be the opposition to the helicopter weight, and propulsive force, it is to overcome the rotor and airframe drag during forward flight. In forward flight, the rotor moves almost edgewise through the air, and the blade sections must encounter a periodic variation in local velocity. You can see this in the image here. So this in turn gives rise to a lot of complications in aerodynamics of the rotor. These complications include the flapping, effect of blade flapping, then compressibility effects, then a lot of unsteady effects, non-linear aerodynamics, possibility of a little stall, then reverse flow, and complex induced velocity from the rotor wake, and you have the list goes on. All these effects will be very difficult to analyze, to study. That is why the blade element theory comes into picture. Using this blade element theory with the certain simplifying assumptions which we have studied in the previous video, the leading terms of rotor aerodynamic forces can be obtained. These solutions are very informative, and they also provide closed form expressions that is used for validation. Validation means analyzing the results from more comprehensive mathematical models of rotor aerodynamics. These are also called as sanity checks. The use of such sanity checks is considered a good engineering practice. Next concept is determining blade forces. To determine blade forces, we assume some of the approximations and blade element assumptions which we have studied in the previous video about blade element analysis in hovering and axial flight condition. Same assumptions and approximation we will be considering here, that is axisymmetric flight case. As before, the velocity at the blade element with the pitch angle theta is decomposed into an out of plane velocity up and in plane velocity component ut. So out of plane velocity component up, it is a perpendicular velocity, that is why the name up, and in plane velocity component, it is a tangential component, that is why ut. So the resultant, both relative to the rotor disc plane, the resultant velocity will be square root of ut square plus up square, which is almost equal to ut. Why almost equal to approximately ut? Because up is generally small relative to your in plane velocity ut. This is considered for most of the blades. Next, relative inflow angle at the blade section or induced angle of attack phi, that's equal to tan inverse up by ut. Approximately it is equal to up by ut for small angles. Usually it will be small angle. Therefore, the aerodynamic angle of attack of the blade element is alpha, that's equal to theta minus phi, that's equal to theta minus up by ut. So these concepts we have studied in the previous video also. Next is the concept of resultant incremental lift, DL. So this resultant incremental lift is per unit span on the blade element, which is given by DL is equal to 1 by 2 rho u square C CL dy. So rho is the density, u is the resultant velocity, then lowercase c, it is the chord length, then CL is the lift coefficient, and dy. We get 1 by 2 rho ut square C CL alpha theta minus phi dy. So on simplifying this, phi is up by ut. On simplifying this, we get 1 by 2 rho C CL alpha into theta ut square minus up ut into dy. This is the resultant incremental lift. Next is resultant incremental drag, that is dd is equal to 1 by 2 rho u square C CD dy. These act perpendicular and parallel to the resultant flow velocity at the section respectively. Resolving these forces perpendicular and parallel to the rotor disc, you get dFz and dFx. So dFz is equal to dl cos phi minus dd sin phi. That is almost equal to just dl. That's equal to the previous equation, resultant incremental lift. And dFx is equal to dl sin phi plus dd cos phi. That is approximately equal to phi dl plus dd. On substituting the previous two equations, we get dfx is equal to 1 by 2 rho C CL alpha theta up ut minus up square plus CD by CL alpha ut square into dy. This is the forces perpendicular and parallel to the rotor disc. Next is determining blade velocities. In forward flight, the blade element velocity components are periodic at the rotor rotational frequency. As for the hover case, there is an in-plane velocity component because of blade rotation about the rotor shaft. But now here in this condition, that is in forward flight, a further free stream part is also there, or translational part is also there. That is in-plane velocity component ut, which is the function of y and psi. That gives you ut function of y and psi is equal to omega y plus v sin psi. So v at the far wake, that is equal to omega y plus mu omega r sin psi. Here psi, it is the azimuth angle. This is the in-plane velocity component, which is a free stream part. The outplane velocity component is up, which is also the function of y and psi. That is equal to lambda c plus lambda I into omega r plus y beta, which is a function of psi, plus mu omega r beta cos psi. Here beta is also the function of psi. Now what is this equation? We have three components. First component plus second component plus third component. So this outplane velocity consists of three parts. The first is the component comprising the inflow velocity, as in the hover case. The other two components result from perturbations in velocity at blade element. that are produced by blade motion. One is flapping, second blade motion is coning. So with the flapping, by considering this image which is shown, a perturbation in velocity y into beta is produced as a result of flapping velocity about the hinge, with another perturbation, that is mu omega r beta cos phi, produced because of blade flapping displacement, that is coning. Thus you get the out of plane velocity component. Also, there is a radial velocity component parallel to the span axis of the blade, and this is given by ur is equal to mu omega r cos psi. Ur is a function of psi. Next, by considering these three equations, in the blade element theory, the aerodynamic effects result from this radial velocity which are neglected. This is in accordance with the independence principle of sweep, which states that aerodynamics result only because of the velocity components and angle of attack perpendicular to the leading edge of the blade. But the effects of radial velocity component along the blade may need to be considered when eliminating the rotor drag. In non-dimensional form, the three preceding equations that can be written as ut by omega r, that's equal to y by r plus mu sin psi, that is r plus mu sin psi. Up by omega r, you get, on simplifying the equation, lambda plus r beta by omega plus mu beta cos psi, and ur by omega r is equal to mu cos psi. This concludes the blade element analysis in forward flight. So in this video we have discussed about blade element analysis in forward flight. That is, we have two forces, lifting force and propulsive force. Then what are all the different complications and complexities in aerodynamics of rotor. So this blade element theory will provide solutions for these complexities, and then we do the sanity checks. Then we determine the blade forces. We get dFz and dFx, and then coming to the determining blade velocity, which is shown here. With this, we'll conclude with today's video. Also, like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.